Hi guys, welcome to episode 82 of the Crochet Cakes podcast, a podcast about crochet, the fiber arts, and just crafty things that catch my fancy, honestly. I want to thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to join me in today's podcast. I have a lot of things to share with you, and I don't know if I'll get through them all because once again, I've kind of gone full cycle on my hip back situation, so even though I'm sitting on a particularly comfortable chair, it's not that comfortable. So several things have changed since 2 weeks have gone by. It's June 14th, which means the Summer Romance Cal officially started. It started on the 13th of June. And if this is the first time you are tuning into this podcast, then welcome, and I'll explain a little bit about the Summer Romance Cal to you. So the Summer Romance Cal is a make along that I co-host with Claudia of the Crochet Luna podcast, and this is our 4th year co-hosting this Cal, and it's just a fun way of I don't know, it's just fun to participate and celebrate romance, right? So what the Summer of Romance entails, hashtag SRCal2020 for this year, is that you choose a couple that you really like. It can be from a movie, from a book, just a couple, and you kind of represent them with yarn, stitches, projects, patterns, and they have to fit a theme. That's kind of really the only rule. They have to fit a theme. And the theme for this year is timeless romance, which I don't know about you, but it always has me thinking about classics. So I actually decided about 1 or 2 days ago what couple I'm going to be choosing, and I'm going to choose Catherine Morland and Mr. Tilney to represent this in this year's Summer Romance Cal, because number one, it's a Jane Austen novel, which is a classic, so it's kind of timeless, and I feel that the themes that are talked about in the book, Northanger Abbey, are also timeless. Catherine Morland is a really good character to explore when you're in that cusp of womanhood and kind of entering adulthood, and Mr. Tilney is just kind of balances her childness and helps her grow into a better person. So I thought it was great to go with that. And fun fact, years ago, maybe 6-7 years ago, I bought a book, and it was called Jane Austen's Guide to Dating. That's what the book was titled, and it was a really fun book written by I believe she had a master's, or her major was in English literature, and she had written her thesis in the courtly traditions of Jane Austen, or something like that. Anyway, so she was British. She moved to the States and for her boyfriend, and then she and her boyfriend broke up, and she didn't know how to navigate the US dating system. She wrote a book, and it was titled Jane Austen's Guide to Dating. It was really fun. It was really interesting. Even if you don't need dating help, I still recommend the book because the way she draws her examples, it was a fun read. And at the end of this book, you took a quiz to find out which Jane Austen hero was your match, and my match was Henry Tilney. So, fun fact for you. Other things to chat to you about. There are a lot of Cals going on at the moment, and I want to participate in a lot of them, but frankly, I haven't yet been good about dividing my time with work crochet and pleasure crochet, so it's been a little kind of just not smooth sailing in that aspect, but hey, I'm still crocheting, so that's fun. And other Cals that are going on, I think Catherine of Crafty Treats, she's hosting a kindness Cal, and Claudia's hosting a year-long cal as well as Hannah, who's also hosting it, and there's the Dodgy Bag Mal hosted by Claudia once again. And I have I have in the works a cal that I hope will interest you guys, but it's going to run from the 15th of September to the 15th of October. So that's still a little ways away, and when I actually finish narrowing down what it is that I want this cal to be, I will definitely share it with you. Other things, it's 14th of June, which means that it's been 4 years and 10 days since I uploaded my first ever Crochet Cakes podcast episode to YouTube, and I can't believe it's been 4 years. It's just thank you to all those people who gave my podcast a chance and stayed around, or maybe some people that visit every so often to check in and say hi and then move on to greener pastures. I'm still thankful that you ever pressed that watch button. It really means a lot to me, especially since this is now my job. Let's see how long I can keep the job of crochet going, because money's not everything, but it does pay bills. And student loans, they don't wait around forever. Car payments don't wait around forever. So you gotta put a dent in them before you're, 50 years paying them off. Anyway, so those are just some things that I wanted to share with you. The other things, I've been doing a lot of thinking and reading and listening on how to approach the social injustices that have been going on. It hasn't just been racism, but racism is one of the social injustices that we've been facing lately, and I've been doing a lot of thinking, and there are a lot more people that have said it better than me. And my take on it is really to just respect people, okay? Respect all makers, respect Black people, respect Latinos, respect Hispanics, Puerto Ricans, Asians, just respect people in general. And I know that each one of you is a kind person who respects and treats people the way people should be treated, and not because of their skin tone, or treat them differently because of the color of their skin. And like I said, many people have said it way better than me. I've never been really good with words when the subject is really close to me or really important to me. And I know that seems weird, but sometimes you find it easier to express yourself when you're not so passionate about what you're talking about, which is also why I think I'm such a mess when I podcast and talk about crochet, because the right words don't want to come out. But yeah, I feel like I should take a breather and drink some water now. And I guess the first thing I'll share with you is what I'm wearing, because even though I'm not wearing any crochet today, I am wearing handmade things, not my dress. Sewing in me, I think sewing is like a horse. It senses your fear and it messes up. Doesn't move forward when you want it to move forward. But I am wearing something handmade by my mom, who is a maker of all things awesome. And I'm wearing some felted earrings that she made, and I'm wearing a wet felted crochet heart that is very appropriate for the summer romance cal. Okay, so that's what I'm wearing. I'm sorry, you guys, this discomfort really has me all over the place, and I've been putting off drinking the medicine, but I have been drinking a tea, a blend of elderflowers, lavender, and holy basil. That's been awesome. I usually drink it at night because that's when I'm going to sleep. That's when I start feeling the palpitations on my hip, and my lower back. So I've been drinking it at night and it's been helping me sleep. So if you have trouble sleeping, I don't know if it'll help you, but lavender, elderflowers, and holy basil have been helping me. I bought the herbs loose and I just put a little tiniest pinch of lavender because a little bit of lavender goes a long way. And then I put about half a teaspoon of holy basil and half a teaspoon of elderflowers, and I brew the tea for 10 minutes, and then I drink it, and it's delicious. At least I think so. Okay, so I think that's enough of health stuff. Oh, although I'm all about yellow today and mustard, as you can see. Even my lipstick is mustard. It's actually not mustard, but on my skin tone it looks mustard, which I think is great. It's the color Marigold from Kat Von D. And you may or may not remember, but why would you remember? 2 weeks ago, previous podcast, I shared with you that I had an ad come up on Instagram of Kat Von D lipstick for $5. This was one of them, and I bought it. Now I just need to find my perfect green shade. Although I don't know if I'm brave enough to wear green on my lips. Anyway, I do have some finished objects to share with you guys, some works in progress, and yeah, I'm just gonna cut right to the chase. And actually, almost everything has a shade of green. So the first thing I want to share with you is that I have published so far 3 blog posts, and one of them was I made the Las Nubes top, a completely free pattern, and you can find it on my blog as well as you can purchase it on Ravelry or Etsy. And I decided to make it a free pattern to celebrate El Día Internacional de Tejer en Público, which is National Crochet in Public Day, and I also wanted to celebrate 4 years podcasting. It was my way of saying thank you to whoever wanted to make this pattern and hadn't been able to purchase it. Now it's free. It's still divided into 2 parts, but each part is linked in the respective blog posts. And also, I published this basket pattern. It's in a teal color. It's Bernat Softy Chunky, I think this is the yarn. And I used a 6.5mm hook to make the basket. The stitch tutorial that I used for the basket is kind of like, I just called it a broken rib stitch or a modified billows stitch. And there's a tutorial for the stitch pattern as well as photo tutorials for the basket. The basket is pretty simple. You only need 1 ball of yarn to make it this size. And you start with it has waistcoat stitch. It's done in the bottom in the round, and then you just start building it up with the broken rib stitch. Now the reason I wanted to design something in this stitch was because I love the look of the woven bags from the 60s, and I wanted to recreate them in crochet. So this is a pretty sturdy basket. It stands up on its own, and I use it to hold my TV remotes so that they always have a place to be. And that's a free pattern as well as a free tutorial that's up for you. The other finished items I have, I'm going to have to kindly ask my mother to look away, and I'll tell you when you can look back, okay? Because I have her birthday's coming up, and I have finished 3 things for her, because for Mother's Day, me, the maker, didn't send her anything handmade, and I felt really guilty about that. So I made her 3 things, and these will probably be the only 3 things I can fit, because shipping things to Puerto Rico has been taking an obscene amount of time. Even Amazon takes about a month, which is ridiculous when you pay for Prime, but yes, moving on. So, Mom, look away. And the first finished object is a variation on a pattern that I designed, and it is a drying mat. It's the retro drying mat. And she already knows this one because she helped me choose the color. So we have, again, teal. This one's more blue than green. And then we have, this color is Honeydew. The green is Honeydew by Knit Picks. It's from Knit Picks Dishy. And then we just have a sky light blue from Peaches and Cream, Lily and Cream, some Sugar and Cream. One of those 100% cotton yarns that you can buy at Joann's. And I've just bordered it with a crab stitch border exactly as the original pattern states. The only thing I did different for this pattern is that I made more chains, so I have more pattern repeats. That's the only thing that's different. I just made it bigger. And I love it. It's I use it as a drying mat all the time. It's always on my kitchen, except, you know, when I wash it. But you could also use it as a placemat, or you can make it smaller and maybe use it as a hot pad. Just make it your own and have fun. And then the other two things I have finished are pot holders. These are the double thick pot holders by Sorella. And it's this thermal stitch, which I had never heard of before. And it's, you know, 3 months ago, I had never heard of it before. Now I'm obsessed with it, and every single pot holder I make has to be thermal stitch. So this is one, and then this is the other. And the ends are woven in this one, I just haven't cut them. This one is a Wool and the Gang cotton that I actually had designed a headband with, but I didn't have enough of the cotton left over, so I broke my headband and put it all into this pot holder. And this one has 2 colors held together. It's got the honeydew color and then a blue color. So I tried to make a set out of these and have them all be as close to matchy-matchy as possible, because you gotta have things that match in your kitchen. Excuse me, I had to take a little bit of a water break because I've been drinking a lot of water, which is not bad. Water's good, water's good. Okay, and those are the only finished items, but I'm very happy with them. They were more of pleasure crochet instead of work crochet, and they weren't for me. They were for somebody else, which is what I love. I love making things for other people that I know will appreciate them, because sometimes you just make things for people and they're like, oh, okay, did you forget my birthday? No, I just thought I'd gift you a little bit of my time and effort instead. I know, right? Rude. So the other 2 works in progress that I have, one is knitting and one is crochet, and one is work crochet, which I'm very, very happy with, by the way. The last time we spoke to each other, I shared with you my idea of making a crochet shift dress to embody kind of like this late 60s fashion, which I love shift dresses, okay? So I thought it would be fun. Sorry, I keep disappearing from the frame, but I'm trying to get the project. So I have finished the front part of this shift dress in the most perfect shade of green. And here we are. So we've got the bobble border at the bottom, and then we've got a hip stuff, and then we've got waist, and now we have neckline, and yeah. So it's all very exciting. I hope to have this finished in July for publication in August. It'll be a free pattern, of course, because my goal is to become a blogger. So blog content. And for the back part of the dress, I'm actually pretty well into it as well. I finished the hips and I'm going up to the waist. Now, I have several people ask me for tips on crocheting garments, and the one I'm going to give you right now is probably going to be the weirdest tip anyone's ever given you about crocheting a garment. I crochet garments in my underwear. I kid you not. I crochet them in my underwear. Why? Because I'm constantly measuring the piece I'm working on against myself. I'm constantly double checking my measurements to make sure that what I am crocheting will fit me the way I want it to. Because that is the beauty of making your own clothes. You do not have to subscribe to an industry standard of small, medium, or large. Even if I write a pattern that says small, medium, or large, you are making it yourself. You can look to yourself and see where you need to adjust this garment. And please do not be afraid to do that, honestly. For example, me, I have big hips, I have a big butt, I have the smallest possible boob size, okay? So I often have the problem that I'm a small or extra small in the bust, medium for my hips, and I have long legs. So yeah, sometimes things will not go up my thighs, and if they do go up my thighs, then they're too big on the waist. So take crochet garments as an opportunity to learn more about your body and to honor the way your body looks and making a piece that will fit you yourself, okay? Not the designer, and certainly not me. Let it fit you. So the way I'm envisioning writing this pattern for you guys is a bit different to other garment patterns I've written, because for this dress I will have a lot of emphasis on measuring yourself and making sure that the measurement I gave is something that will fit you. Maybe you don't have hips, but you have a big bust. Well, what would you do? Well, then you definitely maybe use a smaller size and start increasing right before you get to your bust. Maybe change the stitch to accommodate for that bigger bust. Or choose the large size for your bust and then the medium size for your hips. You know, it's just a play on measurements and knowing your body. And yeah, so I'm really excited about this dress, and I'm really excited to get it finished, but I will not release it unless it's, I feel it's ready, because math and measurements, boy, how many times do I calculate and then a wonderful maker messages me and says, I think this might be wrong. Yeah, it was. So I'm being extra careful this time to write down everything so that I don't have to think, what did I mean? You know? So I didn't tell you anything else about this dress, but I'm making it in Lion Brand's Cotton Bamboo, and it's their Lion Brand collection yarn, which has the most beautiful stitch definition, and it's cotton bamboo. You guys know I love that blend. And if you didn't, now you know. Oh no, I lost a yarn ball. I'll collect it later. Oh, and so I also want to share with you where it's living, because it's living in this picnic basket, maybe? It's not really a picnic basket, it's a purse. And there goes that ball of yarn again. Right. But I love having this. You know, I was gonna use it as a purse, and then I'm like, no, it's perfect for big garment projects. And it absolutely is. And they look wonderful in there too, and you can just have two purses when you go out, or just have that big purse and put a tiny wallet in there. So the other work in progress that I have to share with you is actually some knitting, which I'm surprised myself. But last time I talked to you, I shared that I had cast on and I was working on the cuffs for the You Are Beautiful socks, which is a sock pattern designed by Anna of Stitchcraft and Wizardry, and she designed it for the second sock syndrome swap. Say that 5 times fast. And the lovely swap partner I had chose this gorgeous green color. This is like Irish green right here. And she did a variegated heel and toe. When I showed it to you, I did tell you it was too short for me, but I was like, I am so not ripping it back. Guys, I have to rip back the toe and make the toe a little bit longer, and then it'll be fine. But my partner knits so well, and she hides her ends so well, that I'm gonna have to cut back. That's what I think. I'm gonna actually have to cut the toe off. And I don't want to do that. I think I've cut my knitting once, when I made a true afterthought heel. And I remember panicking, and it wasn't so bad. So we'll see. We'll see how courageous I feel. But living in my little pineapple bag with this wonderful yarn that I think it's 75/25, I don't know. The ball band wasn't included, but it's definitely sock yarn. Gorgeous. I'm using the inside, not the outside. And this is where I'm at. I'm actually finished my cuff, finished my leg, and finished my heel and my heel turn. So I'm about to pick up the stitches for the gusset and move along with my toe. I mean, my foot. Gusset decreases and my foot. As you can see, I did not make a variegated heel, even though she sent me the yarn for it. Why? To be honest, I forgot. I was so excited that I was past my leg and I was right at the heel that I just kept knitting and knitting and knitting. I honestly forgot to change the yarn, and then by the time I realized it, I had already finished my heel turn, and I was not ripping it back to variegate. Oh no. So I guess I can still do a variegated toe, which might be a thing, or I could just save the little mini yarn to, I don't know, make a scrappy blanket or something. But I'm very happy with the progress on my socks. They're very relaxing. I never thought Clarissa would say that. Socks are relaxing. Who am I? And what has this plague brought me to? So that is it for yarny content. I do have some acquisitions. Some were gifts, some were purchased, that I want to share with you. And the first ones I'm going to share with you are for the summer romance cowl. So Claudia of the Crochet Luna podcast, she has a button business as well as bags. She has an Etsy shop, okay? And I'm going to pull it up. She sent me a huge bag of some of her latest pins, and I'm in love. So first I'm going to show you the pin for the summer romance cowl. There we go. Two little foxes sharing a kiss. There's a little heart between them. And here is Claudia's information. I'll also include the link to her Etsy shop down below. And this is my favorite. Stitch and make. But there's just so many this crocheter knits. I thought that was really great. Keeping it real with crochet. Little corgi with a "you've got this," because we all need to know that we have it, you know? So she sent me that and some jelly beans that I posted on Instagram a story because my dog got into the jelly beans. That dog has a serious problem with wanting to eat human food. And it's just, he'll either find it for himself, or you give him a little morsel of whatever you're eating, as long as, you know, it's dog safe and whatever. Oh, that wasn't enough? I'm gonna dig through the trash. Yeah. So, I think I've mentioned it before, but we had to put a child lock on the trash can. And the other gift I received, this was for my wedding anniversary, which was on the 31st of May, is my husband bought me a Knit Picks Interchangeable Needle Set. Because even though I am not that much of a knitter, you need to have them, don't you? Because you'll want to make a project and you'll look at your needles and you're like, oh, I don't have that. Or in my case, I just tend to buy the needle I need for the project, and then I just have way too many needles that could have been solved if I had an interchangeable needle set. But here's my grit about interchangeable needle sets. This is an interchangeable needle set. Majestic Wood Knit Picks options, in case you're interested, and they are the 4 square needles, so they are square, they're not cylindrical, and they're supposed to be more comfortable to hold. And I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, they're supposed to be more comfortable to hold, which I thought, yes, comfort. But you can't use these to make hats because they're too big. So if you want to make hats, you need to buy the short interchangeable needle set, which is also useful for sleeves. And if you want to make socks, you need to buy the sock interchangeable needle set because the short needle set doesn't cover the sock sizes either. So I have a lot to say about needles. It's really upsetting, actually. Anyway, so this kit includes US 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter, from a 3.5 millimeter up to an 8 millimeter, which I think is fantastic. And I'm actually considering potentially, perhaps, making a knit garment. And I'm considering making the As If tee. If you, like me, didn't know what this knit garment was about, it's basically a mock t-shirt. It uses mohair at the top, and then you kind of go shaping into a V, and you use worsted weight or Aran weight yarn for the rest of the garment. So the reason I'm considering the As If tee is because the designer also crochets, and the pattern is made in pieces, it's not in the round. Although I'm not sure how I feel about that, because the only ever knit garment I've made was in the round, and it was fine. It was patterned by Andy Satterland, that one. So the reason I'm kind of holding back is because it's worsted weight wool in Florida. Not the best. But also mohair. Even though what I have is kid silk mohair, I'm not entirely convinced I'm not going to be, you know, just shifting around in itchiness. But it looks so good that it just might have to be one of those projects that you make and maybe you find someone else to wear, because it's just, it looks so wonderful. And I actually briefly considered making it to represent Catherine Morland and Henry Tilney. I was just like, yes, I just need to find some pale tones, which are not me, and maybe some earthy tones, because I think Henry Tilney was very down to earth, and Catherine Morland had her head stuck in the clouds. So I thought that was good design for it, because the mohair part really does look like a little cloud, and then I could just do in a more subdued tone. But I think I'm actually going to lean towards using a Northanger Abbey hank of yarn that was gifted to me ages ago. I think it was a gift to me for the first Summer Romance Cal that I co-hosted with Claudia, and it was by Miss Muffet Yarns. She is a yarn dyer from the UK, Devon, I believe, or near Devon. And she dyed this hank of yarn for Northanger Abbey, and she sent it my way, and I've always had it stored away, secreted away, and I think it's the perfect time to bust it open, because 4 years since it's been in my stash. It should be celebrated. And not only that, but I'll probably be making the Treasure Island shawl, a design by my friend Hannah that she gifted to me several years ago as well. And I thought it was perfect to represent Catherine and Henry Tilney, because Catherine is always, she's looking for an adventure, and you know, pretty sure there's a book called Treasure Island, right? So it'd be right up her alley. And the other final thing I'm going to share with you, because I actually have to stand up and go get it, is something that I've been waiting for 2 months to arrive at my doorstep. I've been haunting my mailbox, and it finally yielded results. I'll be right back. So 2 months ago, I believe approaching the end of my birthday month, which was March, I couldn't resist this colorway anymore, and I had to own it. And it is this beautiful, gorgeous hank of yarn. It is kind of a blue-gray base with lots and lots of lovely speckles of greens, some brighter greens, darker greens, fuchsias, kind of like raspberry pinks, oranges. It's just got wonderful, wonderful speckling going on. And a mini in gorgeous green. It's kind of a tonal, bright chartreusey green that matches. Sorry, I need to take a moment to love this yarn. Did I tell you the name? The name is I'm Not Crazy, My Mother Had Me Tested. It is 4-ply, 100 grams, 400 meters in Stitchcraft and Wizardry's House Elf Liberty base of 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. And the mini is 20-gram mini. So I'm very excited to use it, and I want to make socks. Yes, I do. I want to make socks with it. I cannot describe to you how happy seeing this after 2 months makes me, because I was despairing. I thought it was lost in the coronavirus mail. But anyway, just look at the squish. It's so squishy. It's lovely, and words are not coming. But not only did she include that which I purchased, of course, because I purchased it, but she included a gorgeous, gorgeous gift as well. This is Here Comes Sully, which, forgive me, Anna, but I do not understand the reference. I apologize. But it's just a lovely colorway of turquoisey blues, grays, violets, purples, lavenders. It's just all sprinkled here like a bushel of happiness. And it's in her organic bare cotton base, 100% organic cotton fingering weight yarn, 100 grams. And she included this because she said she dyed up the last of her cotton and she thought I needed to have it. I had messaged Anna, I'm going crazy, a while ago, and I had asked if she could potentially dye cotton yarn, because I remember when I first watched her podcast, some of the original colorways she was dyeing were in cotton, but I don't know much about dyeing yarn, so I didn't know that the dyes you use to dye cotton are different than the ones you use to dye wool, and it's a different process, and blah, 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 blah. I didn't know that. So she kindly explained it to me and said she was only dyeing wool, but she did this for me, so I'm so happy. And for those of you who don't know, this is, there we go. So there's Stitchcraft and Wizardry. You can go to their website, and I don't know, they're lovely people. And I'm the proud owner of 3 hanks of Anna's yarn now, so. Okay. Right, so I said this would be short, it has not been, but I do have to confess that I have taken a lot of breaks between filming to stretch and lay down so I can feel more perky and more energetic, and yeah. So what else did I want to share with you? I've still been doing a lot of reading. I bought a book on Kindle, and this book is anti-racist. It's a very enjoyable read. I think it's written for everybody, and it has some activities in the book, and some of the activities are questions like, who are you? Just write down a list of things that come to mind, and then kind of see how the words you use to describe may be from a dominant culture, and they might not be the way you would describe yourself, and it's interesting. And I believe a donation, I don't remember if 100% of the proceeds were going to a Black Lives Matter fund, or if only a part of the proceeds were going to it, but either way, I am happy to have supported a fellow author, because she writes books, those are things you make, and a designer as well, not designer, artist, yes, that's the correct word, as well, in the purchasing of this book, as well as my money goes to helping, what's the correct word? Right, I can't think of words anymore, so I think it's time to cut off the podcast and wish you a very, very happy 2 weeks until I see you again. Who knows where I'll be in 2 weeks, but I will definitely be seeing you again. And if you're participating in the Summer Romance Cal, I'm hosting the chatter thread. Head on over there, let me know who your couple is, how you're representing them. Let's just have fun with this, okay? Let's just share in our love of crafting and romance. So thank you so much for spending like 50 minutes with me today. It's crazy. And thank you so much for clicking that watch button. If you haven't subscribed and you would like to do so, then please subscribe. Thank you to all the new subscribers, by the way. I'm gonna have to do a Who Am I video little segment for the next podcast, in which I will hopefully not be feeling like my hip is 100 years old and killing me. So I will leave you here, and I will just wish you a happy crafting. Bye.